assurance that we can give you on those financial statements. Just a few things on the comparative financial statements this year versus last year. The Cooperative added about $2.3 million in plant. That's the poles and wires and everything you see out there. About $2.3 million was added to the investment there. The total assets of the Cooperative were up to just over $80 million at the end of the fiscal year. On the liability side, the notes payable to the lenders, CFC, RUS, people like that, that balance is actually down about $700,000, just over $32 million. Current year principal payments have been made there. On the income statement, the operating revenues of the Cooperative were up to about $47.7 million. Was about a $4.5 million increase over last year. Also, there was a corresponding increase in the cost of power of about $1 million, and that's primarily due to the higher rates being paid to Power South for the power and those rates being passed through to the membership. All that resulted in a net margin or a net income of $5,088,561 for the year. If anybody has any questions on the financial statements or the audit in general, I'll be happy to try to answer. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ed. I appreciate that. Do we have any elected officials in our presence today? I don't see any. I would like to recognize Fred Braswell. Fred is our President and CEO of our Alabama Rural Electric State Office, and they do a tremendous job of working for you, helping us on the many arenas, but the political legislative arena, as well as some training and education programs to keep our employees up to date with the latest technology. So, appreciate you being here, Fred. This time, I'd like to introduce to you our CEO, Mike McWaters. Mike has been with Wiregrass Electric since 2005. There's been many things under his leadership that have been accomplished these pretty few years, and just really feel valuable to be a part of this team and working for him. On a personal note, he's one of the best bosses I've ever had. Mike, let's go.
All right, I want to first of all tell everyone that you notice all the folks that have the Tennessee orange color shirt, which is really hard for us Alabama fans to have on the orange.
Orange paint out the truck.
That's okay. I was telling John Oshie here earlier, my son and I went to Columbia last Saturday, and that was kind of a tough trip to make for an Alabama fan too, so I'm ready to put on some red and white this morning. But these are the folks that do the work. I'm fortunate that I get to work with them every day, but if you have a chance before you leave today, make sure you stop by and tell them you appreciate what they do, because they're really the people that make Wiregrass what it is. A lot of times the board and myself, maybe you see more of our picture than you do. They're the ones that really do all the work, and they're the folks that you see at church on Sunday, and that you tell your problem to, everyone can help you with the problem. So I want to thank them for the job they do. I want to go over just a few things with you. Hopefully, give you an update on what's going on at your co-op. The first thing is about reliability. Obviously, we all want to have reliable electric power. That's very, very important to us. I think more so today than it's ever been. Whenever your clock blinks or whenever you don't have electricity, you really don't know how to operate it. It's kind of you're at a loss whenever you don't have it. So we've done a lot of things to improve reliability. We've added the Murphy Mill substation just west of Dothan during the past year. And we've also added a new substation in Coffee Springs. So if you live out that direction, you should see an increase in reliability. But we're spending about $5 million a year on what we call work plan projects. These are capital improvement projects, and things like substations, things like new poles and new wires. So we're spending a lot of money every year because we know that you want reliable electric power. That's what you ask us to do, and that's what we're doing. part of that process, we're inspecting about 6,000 poles every year. You see people out digging around your poles and checking on it. That's part of our quality assurance program. We're inspecting those to see if they're deteriorating and replacing the ones that need to be replaced. We replaced about 150 poles in the past year. Back in January, we met on reliability. We met our all-time system peak back in January, so that was a good thing. We replaced about 7.5 miles of copper lines in the past year, and we upgraded another 6.5 miles of lines in the past year. So we've done a lot of work on our system. That continues with our right-of-way program. We've been very aggressive the last 4 or 5 years with our right-of-way program. Next year will be our 6th year of cutting right-of-way in this pattern. We will have cut our whole electric system over the past 6 years, which has never been done before in that cycle in the history of Wiregrass. So we're trying to do things that we can to make your energy more reliable for you. We also want to talk about member services a little bit, some of the things we're doing there. We've heard from a lot of our members about how can we use less energy at home. We've had the coldest winter and the hottest summer in 1 year that we've ever had in history that I know of, looking back at the records. And so we heard a lot of people when it was cold and bills went up because they were using more energy at home, or then during the summer when bills went up. They asked us, how can we use less? Well, we took that to heart and we created a position this year, our energy services position that actually is going out and helping people do energy audits on their homes, trying to tell you how that you can reduce energy consumption in your home. So we thought that's going to be a very, very important part of our business. And we've also been able to partner with Habitat for Humanity, which I'm real pleased with this, for lower income people, that if we go out and tell you what you need to do to have a more energy efficient home, but you don't have the money to do it, you can contact Habitat for Humanity and they will do a loan process to actually let you apply for a low interest loan that you can make those improvements to your home. So we're real pleased to be able to do that. We've also improved our outage response system. Whenever you call in, report an outage, we hope we've got that where it's better, that you don't get a busy signal, that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, you can call in and report outages. We've also given the ability now that you can pay your bill using that same phone system. So hopefully you'll take advantage of that. If you work odd shifts, or if you're not at home during the day, whenever you can come by and make a bill payment, you can call at 10 o'clock at night or 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever time is best for your schedule, and you can do business with us. So we've also done that with our website. We're trying to make our website more user-friendly so that you can do business with us at your convenience, not just when we're open, but you can do business with us all the time. And probably if you noticed on your bill, I hope you've noticed the last few months you've had a wholesale power cost adjustment credit on your bill. Through September, we've given back about $1.5 million. We've actually given back to our members in the form of wholesale power cost adjustment. And we probably will go over $2 million by the end of the year. And that's we created that mechanism back in January. The board really wanted to create a way that whenever our power costs go down, they're lower than what we budgeted, we can try to get that money right back to the customer rather than keeping it and using it for other things. We want to give it right back to you. And that process has allowed us to do that. And we will probably, like I say, go over $2 million this year for giving back to you, our members. Distribution expense. I want to talk about this just a little bit. One of the other things that we did on your bill, I hope you realized back in January, we kind of added, we didn't add any cost, but we added some makeup of the bill a little bit different, trying to communicate this message to you. The biggest piece of your bill every month is wholesale power costs. What we pay Power South Energy Co-op. And so we actually broke that out on the bill and put wholesale power costs out there. And we created a line that we call distribution expense on the bill. And that is the piece that we manage. That is the piece that Wiregrass keeps. It's about 25% of our costs. It's not a great big portion of it. But the good thing about that, if you'll look at this chart, this blue part here is the wholesale power cost piece. That's that on your bill. You see wholesale power costs, you see that's going up and up and up. But the good thing about it, the rest of this up here is distribution expense. Those are all staying fairly flat. And that's a good thing. We feel like we've been able to maintain our costs. Since 2003, we've been actually able to keep our costs pretty flat And I think that's pretty remarkable if you think about for the past 7 years, in fact, the money that we keep, we've been able to keep that relatively flat and not to have to go up. This chart's got a lot of different things on it. As you can see, this is 3 cents per kilowatt hour. So all the costs that we have are added into here, but it's under 3 cents per kilowatt hour and has been that way for the last 5 years. So I think that's another one of those things you pat the employees that work for Wiregrass on the back. They've been able to cut costs and find ways to keep our costs flat. Even though our rates have gone up the last few years because most of our costs, the piece that we keep and operate here locally has been at 3 cents or less for the past 5 years. And there's not many things I think that you buy that you can say that about. This is just a statement here that I think was in our audit report. I wanted to show you. It says that our controllable costs, which consist of all our distribution expense, such as our operations, our maintenance, our customer service, our consumer accounting, everything has continued at less than 3 cents per kilowatt hour for the 6th consecutive year. And yeah, I think that's pretty remarkable. We've been able to control our costs. Capital credits, I hope if you've been around long enough, you were able to get a capital credit check this year. It's the 5th consecutive year that the board has declared to pay capital credits. This year we returned 1977 and 1978. That was about $170,000 we mailed out to our members. And if you go back since the history of the co-op, we've given back $3 million to our customers through capital credits, which we're real proud of that. Hopefully we'll be able to continue this trend. That's something that the board has budgeted for going forward every year. They want to be able to return those capital credits. And the last thing I want to talk about is just our commitment to the community. I think we have a great group of employees that not only value their job, but they value being part of the community in which they live. They've been able to, through their payroll contributions, they contributed almost $6,000 to United Way and to Wiregrass, which to me that's just pretty phenomenal. When you think about it, they're willing to give out of their money to help people that are less fortunate, and I think that's a great thing. Our teams raised about $4,000 for the American Cancer Society last year, and all those are just good things. I think that our employees take great pride in being able to raise money to help people that are in different situations. We also are very involved in our youth programs, our youth tours, and things. We're trying to educate and promote leadership among our young people today, and being involved in our community with economic development, doing what we can to try to create jobs so that we can all have a great community to live in. But that's my report for this year. Again, I just appreciate the support that you've given us. We have a great co-op, we have great employees, we have a great board of directors, and it's home to me. But if it wasn't home, this would be the best place in the world